All right, guys, we looked at that last segment where I had an ability to see that attack coming. I've already got my light in my hands. Remember, I can de-escalate with the light in my hands. I can still calm the person down. I can use body language and verbals that are apt to have my adversary not engage me in a fight. However, that last segment was, I'm doing all that, he still attacks me anyway. This segment is going to be a piece where the light is in my pocket. It's where I keep it every day. I personally keep mine in a drop-down pocket. If I had blue jeans, I would just keep it in a front pocket. I want it easily accessible. In these pants, I'm gonna drop it down into this wider pocket. It's got more room. It's easier to get in there and access the light. So this segment would show, maybe I come under an attack. I either didn't see it coming, it's sudden, the person didn't seem to have violent intent, and now they're attacking me, and I have to try to access that light. A big problem that people who don't train on a regular basis do is they think that their tools are going to save them. So if I could use Jay for a second to illustrate a point. If Jay isn't, not a fighting stance, Jay, you're just kind of standing, but if Jay and I are at this range, everything in a pocket, everything on a belt, if you're a police officer, all of these things are secondary. My primary weapon systems in a confrontation are first my mind and my mouth, making sure that I'm not causing an escalation through the things I'm saying, making sure that I'm paying attention to my adversary, and I know I'm starting to get his intent. And then I know that anything I want to access that's not already in my hands when this fight jumps off is going to have to be accessed from an angle. It's going to be extremely hard for me to stay in front of Jay. The fight begins, and I'm trying to pull this out, and Jay's hitting me. And I've just taken 7 punches, and I've been driven backwards into a wall. We're in a studio right now. We're on a mat. Imagine if I were outside in a parking lot. How far do you think you can back up in a parking lot before you're running into an object, a person? What if you had another friend over here? And I begin to get driven back, and I'm trying to access this thing in my pocket while he's punching me. Now his friend attacks me. These are all no-go situations. So if I'm talking to somebody and it's an unknown situation, he's not my friend, I don't know who he is, he's approaching me, he's upset about a parking spot, whatever the case may be, I might not have had time to get this out of my pocket. And now I'm in full deflection mode, I'm in full de-escalation mode. If that fight begins and he begins to come forward and I'm taking those shots, I have to defend that first. I've got to win that battle before I can access anything else to continue to fight with him. Some ways I'm going to win that battle are, I'm not going to be in front of him. I'm going to create an angle. Once I create that angle, if I'm going to stay attached, he can still be trying to punch me here. I'm going to get that light up, and then now I'm using that light in this fight. I know I'm in a fight. So my message to you to begin this segment is, this is a secondary weapon system if you're at arm's length. It's going to come out only from a position where my hip space Jay and his hip space away. I got him behind him. If I want space off that initial attack, I'm dealing with it, boom, and I come here, I might kick him to make space, and now this comes out, and now we're fighting. We're right back to our fighting with this in my hands. And you notice there we exchanged a couple punches. I flashed him and I moved to a hard angle on his hip. And I'm going to continue to create those angles throughout the event. But if this tool is not in my hands when the fight starts, I'm not going to go after that tool until I have an opportunity, an opening. So we're going to train that for a second. And Jay's going to come in. Jay's going to start punching me. For purposes of the drill, if you have a training partner, for this kind of a drill, Jay needs to give me forward pressure. Okay, and we'll explain that more in a second. We're just going to demo it. So Jay comes forward. Maybe I didn't even see him, and now I see him and I realize I'm in a fight. I'm creating that angle. I'm using his clothing, and now the light's in my hands, and now we're fighting. The light's in my hands, and I'm moving and fighting. And that light is now a roll of quarters. It's now a striking weapon. But I've accessed that from an angle. I need to get an angle. Real quick on space. If Jay throws 1 or 2 punches and he backs up as I come forward, he just gave me space. Now, my weapon system's out. So what I want is space to deploy a weapon system in the middle of a fight. It's a bad idea to attempt to deploy it while under fire. This is not an answer to this problem. Instead, I'm going to create my own space by getting to an angle. He's going to come back. And now we're fighting. Or if Jay creates the space off his initial punch, when I try to clinch, if he goes backwards, he just gave me the space, lights out, bam, and we're fighting. Okay? So keep in mind, I'm looking for that opportunity. We're going to show this in a drill now. For purposes of the drill, he's going to put some forward pressure, and we're just drilling this. So, Jay starts, go. And we're moving. Show another variation. He comes forward. There's my space. Created a hard angle, drug him to the ground, separate, light comes out. Now I've got a weapon system if that continues. Thanks, brother.